This video will walk teachers through the setup for CommonLit to connect it to your Canvas courses. So the first thing you'll do is open up ClassLink Launchpad and get to all the apps that you have. One little tip that I always like to tell people is to do a two-finger click on apps that they use frequently so that they show up on the bottom and they're just a little bit easier to find, especially as we add additional things to ClassLink. And so I have these things down here right now. I'm going to open up my Canvas account, and I'm also going to open up my CommonLit account. If you want to set up CommonLit to work with your Canvas courses, you do need to publish your Canvas course first. We do ask that you do not publish your courses too far ahead, as that data will then show up in Grade Guardian if you have any assignments in there, for example. The first thing to know is that your rosters are set up for you already. All you need to do is activate them for the very first time. And so the way that you'll do that is you'll open up one of your Canvas courses. You're going to make an assignment in that course. And I'll just add an assignment here as an example. I'm going to edit that assignment. And then I can give directions up here if I would like, change the point value, assignment group, all those things. The key thing to know about setting it up to connect with CommonLit is you go to the submission type and you go to External Tool, click on Find. Once you click on CommonLit, it should launch CommonLit right within this window, and there's something very important to know. You're going to use the recommended settings here where you can select the class that has this little canvas icon next to it. You do not want to use the ones with this ClassLink icon next to them, as those would require you to create an assignment for every single section of the course that you teach. So if you teach multiple sections, that could make things just simply more difficult for you to use CommonLit. So we recommend that you use the recommended settings with that little canvas icon next to them. All you have to do is click on Select Class, and then what it does is it takes the roster you have in Canvas and brings it over into CommonLit. If you have not set up any assignments in CommonLit, it is going to tell you that you don't have any assignments in progress and that you'll need to add an assignment in order to connect it to the assignment that you're building in Canvas. You can also look at completed assessments or assignments that you've used and the assessment series as well. We won't cover that in this video. So if you want to click on Add Assignment, it's going to launch you over into CommonLit. You can pick one of the assignments that you have in here, and I randomly just selected one. You should have the Assign button at the top. You can click on Assign. And then again, it's going to show you all of those ClassLink related courses. You want to click on the Canvas icon here, check the box next to that class. And then you also need to include start dates, the start time, which by default just picks the day that you're on. And you also need to select a due date for that. This due date does not correlate to whatever you put into Canvas, however, so just keep that in mind. You may want to just be consistent with that. You will put a due date here and then also in the assignment in Canvas. Select your time. You have some settings that you can choose to do. You can assign it individually. You can choose what assessments you want to include, and then you can add your own directions as well. So I'm going to click Assign. And then you have a couple of ways that you can do this. I think the easiest way to do this is to go back to your assignment here. You can go back here, reselect your class, and then you click on Add to Canvas here, and then click on Select. Now there should be a link here, which is unique to your class. You cannot share this assignment with another teacher using this external tool, and it will just work for them, unfortunately. The other thing I recommend is unchecking the box here. This just reduces the number of clicks that students need to do to access your assignment. You scroll down and you click on Save. So now your assignment is linked here in Canvas. When students open this up, they will see the assignment and can complete it right here. And then you get this link where you can go to CommonLit to see how students are doing on the assignment, and you also can grade it there. Any scores that you give in CommonLit will automatically go back to the gradebook in Canvas. A couple other items to note about your classes in CommonLit, I'm going to give this a quick refresh here, is that you can hide your classes. So if you go over here to click on My Classes, and you go down to Manage Classes over here, You should be able to hide all these class link ones just so that you don't make a mistake and accidentally use one of them. What you do is you just click on Options, Hide Class. I've noticed that the classes that are coming up aren't letting me hide them. So teachers, especially at the high school, might notice that they are seeing these classes here, and they are unhideable, unfortunately, but some of them are. One other last-minute thing that's very important is that if you have a student added to your class and they're new in Canvas in your course, you will need to click this sync button right here, and it will sync your roster from Canvas to CommonLit. This gives you the control to do this. This is not something that tech can do for you, so be sure to sync it if you have a new student added to your roster in Canvas. So that's just a brief overview of how you can use CommonLit and Canvas together.